I seem like I get a lot of people in my practice that are working towards or struggling with the notion of self-love. And I think that's a really great concept. It's a really good thing to strive for, ultimately to achieve, I'm sure. But I think I have an idea of why it might be so hard, and that's because most of us are mistaken on what we think love is. So love for most people, like most of the experiences, are going to be something more like ego attachment or possessiveness or control, for example. And so we learn these notions of what love is from our parents or whoever our caretakers are growing up. And the big issue there is that our parents are imperfect. Now, if you have good parents, they're at least striving to love you. But there's a lot of limitations there because a lot of times, at least most of us anyway, are acting out of our ego. Right? Our ego is this derived sense of self that's really based on survival programming. Right? So it's trying to make the world simpler, more predictable, so it feels safer. The thing about your ego is, and if you're operating out of your ego, is that your ego, being based on lack or fear or uncertainty, is incapable of understanding the notion of love. So we're acting out of our ego, we're trying to love each other, your caretakers, your parents are trying to love you, you think you know what love is, and you model that. Now, we're not limited ultimately by our parents' limitations. We can outgrow that, but until we do outgrow it, in some ways we are very much limited by our parents' own limitations. And so I'll see it in practice where someone's trying to love themselves, but for example, maybe all they know is tough love, right? And maybe that's the love they received growing up. So things aren't going well, and it's like, why can't I do this? What's wrong with me? Why can't I be better? I have to, I must. And it's like, you can reflect, it's like, I guess that is how I received love as a kid. Right? And so here we are trying to earn love for ourselves. We're pleasing. We're trying to operate out of some merit-based love system. And that simply just isn't what love is. It's not merit-based. Real love is unconditional. And so that's okay if you struggle. I mean, we're all struggling. It's a very difficult thing, and it's still worth trying to achieve. It's just, if you want to enter into more of a self-love relationship, it might start with compassion, being compassionate for yourself in how difficult it is to be loving. And from that compassion, that could be like fertilizer for an actual lovingness that later emerges. I don't know. Tell me what you think.